Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Contreras. It's a pleasure to join you all this morning. It's a great fall Saturday morning here on the Gulf Coast in Houston, Texas. Happy to share some critical planning steps with you all this morning. It's something that I love to do with helping students and families think about college planning. And so hopefully today you'll walk away with some key steps of whether you're a ninth grader, a 10th grader, junior or senior. Hopefully this will be helpful in your path as you think about the critical milestones that lead to college planning success. I am a college counselor in my former role before joining My Options Encourage here. So hopefully these are some best practices that you all will be able to use from all of the learnings that I've had with helping families over the past 25 years. And so with that, let me just do a quick intro and then we will dive in. I serve as vice president for My Options Encourage, which is a free college and planning program that is a part of the ACT family. And the tools and resources we have are completely free to students and families and the educators that support students in their college planning journey. And we'll talk a little bit about how you can access those resources and how you can use them alongside all the wonderful things that ACT offers through its assessments and also anything that your schools may offer as well. So this morning, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of take this into in four steps. We only have 30 minutes, and so I know there are lots of students from across the nation, lots of families from across the nation that may be watching or joining us or watching this after it's recorded. And counselors and educators that support them. And so we're going to give you some high-level brushstrokes in terms of what we think are those critical milestones for college and planning success. This will be broken down. We'll kind of approach it in a way where we talk about those college prep behaviors for 9th and 10th graders. And then we'll talk about those specific pieces of advice that juniors and seniors must be mindful of as they think about those time-sensitive needs in terms of the college application. And then I'll spend a little bit of time with the remaining time to really talk through what does it mean to balance your college application list and why that's important. So I'll spend some time doing that as well. So let me just start off by sharing with you all who we are and our role in this massive space of college application planning and admissions and all the wonderful resources that are out there. My Options Encourage is where we have a mission of really democratizing the college application process, meaning we want to remove barriers for students and we want to make sure folks have access to resources. And we're bringing these resources in the college application app to you all free. So there's no cost to this. So Encourage app is the app we'll talk about here in a second, but we're just dedicated to finding ways to ensure that students have access to education. And that is what we believe to be the catalyst to transformation in the communities around us. We know education is critical. You just heard the wonderful intro from Tina Gridiron in terms of all the things that we think about and why we believe what we believe. And so Encourage and My Options Encourage programs are no different. We are looking to help remove all those barriers for students across the country. So we want to give you all, the students and families, control of this journey. And so with that, before I start getting into some of the specifics with the 9th and 10th graders and then the juniors and seniors, just encourage you, no pun intended, but here's a QR code. If you want to find the actual Encourage app, which is free to download, I've got a QR code here on the screen. Maybe take out your phone and just quickly scan it. If you want to, if you're a student or if you're a counselor, if you're a parent or family member, you can point the student in the direction of the app stores. You could download this from both the iOS or the Google Play Store. Again, it's completely free. And we believe that this app, as I talk through it over the next 20 minutes or so, will be a helpful tool for you as you begin to navigate all of the milestones throughout the process from 9th grade through 12th grade, and specifically for our juniors and seniors, if you need some help with staying, on task, this is also going to be very helpful for you too. So here's the QR code, and you can find us in the App Store under Encourage. So with that, let's get into some of the the work this morning of talking through what is going to be important for our 9th and 10th graders. So I'll start with a slide that is seems a little busy, but I'm going to keep us focused. And you see I've circled some items in pink or fuchsia, whatever you want to call that. I believe it's a watermelon as well. But this is where we really begin to think about college lists and making a college decision. And these are what we call the factors that are going to inform building a college list, and then ultimately are going to be important in terms of how when you make your decision, what you need to consider before making that decision. And for 9th and 10th graders, while this looks very overwhelming with all the bullet points and all the pieces of the 4 factors, I'll focus on 2 areas this morning. But let's just break down the 4 so we understand what we're hoping to be mindful of as families and parents of students who are thinking about making that building that college list. We always talk about this process with students in terms of the visual, what you see in the middle, and you can notice that there's an outer ring that is labeled personal, and then you've got these 3 intersections: academics, institution, and affordability. And then you have the student in the middle. So we always want to keep the student in focus of all the decisions and everything that we're thinking through as we explore a college, visit colleges, or add them to our list, and ultimately make application and decide whether or not that's going to be the best choice for you. So we think about the personal and the values that a student brings to this conversation. Very, very important that they are considering what's best for them, what's best for their family. We think about the academic profile in the programs. We have to make sure that our students are aligned in terms of what the types of courses they've taken in high school, the types of electives they may have taken, and how that might inform the programs that are offered at those universities. So we think about the academic profile in the programs. We also need to think about or consider institution types. And so these are going to be the types of institutions: private, public, 2-year, 4-year, in-state, out-of-state, Hispanic serving institutions, historically Black colleges, universities, tribal colleges. There are many things to consider as you take this planning journey. And then finally, one of the most important components, if not the most important component right now for us all as we think about college, is affordability. And what does that mean for you as a family in terms of financial aid that may be needed to make college affordable, in terms of the investment that you're making in your own education as a family and as a student, and what that might mean in terms of the professional career that you're going to pursue. So we have 4 factors that we want to consider. For 9th and 10th graders in particular, I call out the personal preferences and values and the academic profile and programs, because that is where they have control. You have control of your journey as a 9th and 10th grade, because you still have control of your GPA, the types of electives you're taking, any type of specific programs you may be a part of, whether it's a pre-professional program or student organization, HOSA, DECA, JROTC, those types of things. National Honor Society as can be one of those leadership components too. And then you also are going to spend time in 9th and 10th grade thinking about personal preferences and values. And how you do that is going to be laid out on the slide here. This is where we're going to be able to really showcase the specific items of how we believe you can learn about yourself. So that's the self-exploration component. And that's going to be in those elective classes that you might have opportunities to take at your school. The college planning tools that are provided by your school, Encourage is one of them that we would love for you to use for that exploration, but you may have a different college planning tool that's offered at your school. You should ask your school counselor or your advisor and then take advantage of that tool, because there would be some inventories or some interest inventories that you can take to really begin to understand what is in your heart and how you marry your heart to your head to think about the plan or the best plan for you, and how that is actually going to inform your the types of colleges or the programs you're going to explore. And then I would also offer 9th and 10th graders, you have a wonderful opportunity right now to visit colleges. So visit local colleges, visit colleges in your region, If your school is going on these trips, don't skip those. Go on those. Those will actually allow you to really get a sense of whether or not that's going to be a school that's going to help you get to where you want to get professionally speaking. The other component here are building relationships. And how that happens through part-time jobs. That happens through summer programs that might be offered through your local community colleges or local universities, or sometimes some of the high schools that you attend might have programs that they have relationships with businesses and business partners. But all those are great ways to figure out, how do I learn to operate or build relationships with other mentors and adults outside of the school building, which is critical in terms of that finding the best fit college for you. Sports, music, arts, service programs, any of those co-curriculars, those are going to give you the opportunity to really begin to interface with people around you, your classmates, your peers, coaches. When you compete against other schools, you might have that opportunity to interact there as well. But just those are things that you control as a 9th and 10th grader in terms of building relationships and doing more of that deeper self-exploration. And then finally, just exposure and visibility. This is where you also have time in 9th and 10th grade. If you have a part-time job again, or if you have, again, the summer program opportunity, your teachers and other mentors, whether they're through church or through some other leadership opportunity or service that you're a part of, these folks will give you visibility into different pathways that you may not be considering. And so that's your opportunity to really ask questions and do these information interviews, or just in conversation, you're picking up on some things, will help inform whether or not you're looking at the list of colleges through the academic programs or academics that you want to pursue. And is that aligned with who you are based on the self-exploration that you're doing in early 9th and 10th grade? Early high school in 9th and 10th grade. So those are important pieces for the 9th and 10th graders to consider. And so let's talk about juniors and seniors and how you begin to, if you haven't done what I just described for 9th and 10th graders, and you're a junior or senior on the call this morning, or a parent of a junior or senior, or counseling a junior or senior, again, I'll go back to this visual on the screen. These are the 4 buckets, or the 4 factors that you really need to be thinking about as you start to add a college to a student's list. Personal preferences and values, academic profile and programs, institution type, I've got them all listed here for you, and then affordability. And so these 4 items will all come together to drive that college list. And now we really want to start talking about building a balanced college list. And balancing the list means you're taking these 4 factors into consideration, and you're beginning to take a list of 25 colleges that you start to research and explore, and you begin to shape it and you shrink it down. And you're shrinking it down by doing all of the 4 things on this slide, helping the student to do the self-exploration, the research, connecting their passion and their interests with the programs and the academics, which will be obviously delivered through the college experience, and then making sure you're having a conversation around what does the affordability component mean for us, without removing options from the table, because sometimes you might look at a price tag and think it's too expensive. Well, having discussions with that college or with your school counselor or with other classmates that may have gone to that college, they may share with you that they were able to get scholarships, whether it's merit-based or need-based, and you find that school, although it is very expensive, can help you make it affordable based on those scholarships, those grants, or even any type of a student loan, if that's the last piece that you need to bring in to make it affordable. So there are discussions that need to happen, but it takes time and it's a process. And so starting earlier in senior year, or certainly as a junior, to balance this list, you want to shape that and bring it down to maybe 6 to 9 schools. But that's after you're doing all of your homework on the side, considering these 4 factors. Now, if you're thinking, I don't have a lot of time to really shape my list, and I'm a senior or I'm a junior, this is where taking control of your planning journey through the Encourage for Students app, we're going to help you with that, because we ask you questions as you sign up for the app that's going to help begin to shape that college list based on those 4 factors that I was just talking about. And so if you've not been able to reduce the size of your college list, let us help you. And the Encourage app's going to take you through a series of questions, and then we'll ask you to set some goals and some milestones, and we'll begin to lay this out for you in a very organized way. So that way you can see these are the colleges that we're recommending, and you can then have a very thoughtful conversation with your counselor, with your family, with the list of colleges that have been brought to you by way of the Encourage for Student app. So we can accelerate that work for you if you're feeling a little pressure and anxiety that you might be somewhat behind on that. But let us help you get caught up if that's how you're feeling. The planning app is going to help our students, and I'm talking to our juniors and our seniors right now, because this is where we can really begin to break down preparing, meaning we will give you a list of articles and things that you need to consider as you think about making a decision, or you think about reducing that application list, or what's going to be important in terms of the decision-making phase. We will certainly help you with explore and research these college universities because of the list of schools that we will surface through the app. That's going to be automatic through the questions that we ask of you all. And then we can help you with if you're in the final sprint right now this fall with the application and decision-making, because we're going to be able to connect you to all the universities through the app. If you need to go and find their application, or if you're using a different application to apply, we can help you link to that. And then finally, just the deadlines and all of the milestones that are critical in terms of making the decision will all be a part of the app for you as well. And so just another visual of everything that I just explained. This is going to be, how the app looks to you when you do download it and you begin to use it and activate it. It's extremely user-friendly. It's going to have some really, really cool content and some articles written by my team, who are all former educators and school counselors, college counselors. And so you're going to get content that's going to be relevant to the process and everything that you need to know that's critical in navigating the college application season. And so again, just if you're thinking it's overwhelming and there's a lot of information, we'll also bring to you the scholarships, the matches that we provide to you will be delivered through the app. And so we'll match you to scholarship opportunities based on how you're answering questions, and we'll organize it for you all in one space. So that way, when you're thinking through the affordability piece, here you have something that you can at least have one more opportunity to make school affordable. And, obviously, the scholarships that we will surface will be a piece of this equation. It won't be the only way that you can make school affordable, but this is also going to be an important way for you to think through how do you make this decision based on the affordability component. So when you're thinking about this list, and I talked about balancing the college list, and this is where I want to spend time for our juniors and our seniors, drawing back the scope a little further one more time, because I think this is really, really important for families and students to consider. And let me just define a couple of terms for us before I start to talk you through this. You might hear in your school or across in conversations with folks, they may say match, they may say college match, they may say fit or college fit. I'm using the term affordability, but they may say financial aid or cost of college, and then student outcomes. And I use the word broadly, institution in the factors. But these are four real important components to be mindful of, because if you're unclear on when someone says college match or college fit, it can really get confusing for you in a hurry. So when we talk about making the college match, what we're talking about is looking at your current GPA, your class rank, and if you're using a test score in the admissions process, remember that's going to be dependent upon the university in which you're applying to. We're talking about the GPA, the rank, and the test scores. Does that align, or where does that fall in the competitive band in terms of a college's admissions outcomes with someone who has your academic profile? Some schools have a 10% admit rate. Some schools have a 30% admit rate, 50%, 90%. And so it's real important to be mindful of college match in terms of academic profile. We also talk about fit. Does it fit your personal values? Does it have the campus climate that you're looking for? Is it going to address your personal needs? Or do you feel a sense of belonging? So we talk about college fit and college match. Oftentimes we talk about those together in shaping the list. Affordability, I think I've talked about that quite a bit this morning. Always, always, always super important to think about how much you are going to potentially borrow and what your earning power will be in the future. So how does that balance out evenly? And then you have the opportunity to look at student outcomes at these institutions. What is their college completion rate? What's the college completion rate of the underrepresented minority students that are attending those universities? And so being a great, educated consumer of those schools is important for you on the front end. And I'll say this is why this is important for you to be mindful of it as a family and as a student, why it matters. We know that students will, if they follow the guidance that we're giving this morning, we know that students will persist and complete at a higher rate when they're more thoughtful about shaping that list. And we also know that when a student stretches themselves to go to the most academically demanding institution, and so not just considering, the local or the college where family may have attended, not a bad thing, but we want you to look at your academic profile to say, am I stretching myself or am I undermatching based on my academic profile? So stretching yourself and taking that leap of self-belief that you can do that is really critical. We've seen the research bear it out that yes, when students do that, they will meet those goals and they tend to persist and complete at a higher clip. And we know that when students are provided the information and these opportunities, we know that oftentimes they will find their way to those schools. So being thoughtful in terms of your research and using your resources to help you navigate this time when you're building your college lists. The other piece to consider when you're building this college list are we talk about it this way as well: the needs, the preferences, the hopes, and the numbers. And I think that that's where I would say for many students, you oftentimes will compromise on what you're expecting out of a school. And I would encourage you not to do that. You are interviewing these colleges just as they are interviewing you. So are they meeting your needs? And do they have the services and the majors in the academic program that you need? The preferences, sense of self-belonging, very important for students to make sure that they are going to that institution and it has the ecosystem, the campus climate that you need to thrive. And then the hopes and the numbers. What do you expect from a college? Does it have a specific path that you're looking for? You will do that by visiting the colleges, talking to faculty, talking to students that are currently enrolled, and then teachers who may have actually attended that college or university as well. And then just be honest with yourself. You know your academic numbers. You know your profile. If you're aligning or yourself, if you're undermatching or if you're not stretching yourself, be thoughtful about why am I choosing this school if it doesn't align with my academic profile currently. So those are all important pieces to think through when you're thinking about fit, match, and then ultimately making a decision. So we can help you with that. And so I'll pull this back on the screen for those who are looking for those resources or those the content and information that's needed to push through this process. And again, specifically for our seniors and our juniors, we believe that there's a way for us to help you accelerate this work alongside everything that you're already probably leveraging and using at your high school or whoever it may be supporting you. So take advantage of the Encourage Planning app, and we support you in every effort along the way. Our colleagues on the ACT side of the work and My Options Encourage are working together to bring together all these wonderful services and solutions and bringing it to you with an amazing navigation tool. And so with that, I think there's probably going to be questions. If you wanted to send them in to us, we'll be happy to respond to you all, and we'll be happy to follow up with any of those specific questions that you might have. And I will give it back to my team to take you through the rest of your morning. So it's been a pleasure to join you all this morning, and I wish you all the best in your college planning journey.